Luna gets off of you. You were actually okay with this for the first time, and it had to be interrupted.
How do they plan to breach the castle? Luna asks. They mobilized a siege ram to knock through the front doors. They waited till everybody else left and went to sleep. They're trying to free the prisoners and get reinforcements, Celestia informs.
Shit just can't stop getting real, can it? The three of you immediately rush down to the meeting hall. Everyone's panicking. As you pass by the front doors, you notice large cracks in the lower center. A loud boom startles you, violently shaking the doors. Another boom. The ominous and impending impacts staggeringly echo throughout the entire castle. The looming cracked doors have never looked so threatening. On the other side is a mighty siege ram, operated by 8 of Canterlot's strongest stallions. The rail guards are already having a difficult time keeping the prisoners under control. It's only a matter of time before the doors give way. You're sure of it.
Anonymous, retreat to thy quarters. This situation is too dire for thee, Luna directly orders you.
You listen this time. You rush into your room and shut the door. The sound of doors being breached can still be heard. You suddenly hear lots of loud noises. Crashing, rumbling, screaming. You remember how Luna fought off all the town's ponies. Could she fight off whatever awaited behind that door? The noises continued for about 10 more minutes. Silence. You then hear hoofsteps approach your door. There's no way of being able to tell who they belong to. They get closer. After a few more seconds, they stop and a magical aura turns the doorknob. It's blue. Luna enters the room.
Anonymous,
she says. You hug her, relieved that she's alright. Celestia enters the room.
The prisoners have managed to escape,
she earnestly announces. She has a traumatized look on her face, ears folded back and eyes staring blank into space. You and Luna follow her to the main hall. The destroyed doors lie on the floor, forcefully busted open. A lot of guards are injured, and they are in no condition to pursue the escaped prisoners. You have to help everyone else clean the debris throughout the now violated castle. It takes hours, which pretty much ruins your sleeping pattern for the whole night. It's all ogre-now.jpg. Morning comes fast. You're sitting next to Luna at the royal table during a reluctant breakfast. No one has an appetite. You try to convince Luna that she tried her best and she shouldn't feel ashamed. You do everything you can to try and keep her self-esteem afloat. It's the most important thing in the world to you. You later learn that the Counterlot citizens had been helped by outsiders who also opposed Celestia and Luna. Mercenaries from the Badlands, San Palomino Desert, and the outskirts of Hoofington and Bitsburg had aided in the rebellion. The movement is quickly gaining ground. But the actual towns of Bitsburg and Hoofington are still loyal to Celestia, as well as Ponyville, Cloudsdale, and almost everywhere else. Equestria is on the verge of civil war, which is the opposite of what friendship stands for. Revolts similar to the one in Canterlot begin occurring in places all over Equestria. Propaganda is rampant, and civil war is imminent. Later in the day, Celestia gets word that the newly formed Canterlot Legion had received imported cannons with a large supply of gunpowder. This technology is past Luna's time period. In order to prevail, Luna must adjust to the modern social standards and lead the now developing armies of Ponyville and Cloudsdale to victory. You meet Luna in her room. She's really stressed out. She has a plate of fruit on her bed. Within the aura of her magic are about 4 knives, 5 spoons, and a fork. She is carefully skinning and dissecting the fruit like a surgeon. No longer messily stomping on them, but dissecting them. Apples, oranges, bananas, everything. She doesn't seem to notice you. She's too focused on learning how to dissect foods properly, possibly for you. You slowly approach her. You try to think of something constructive to say. Memories of all the awkward moments you and Luna have had together flood your mind. You just want to finally resolve this. Luna, we need to talk. You interrupt her heavy concentration. She looks at you, startled. You wave awkwardly, trying to break the ice. She releases the silverware, letting it softly fall onto the bed.
Our apologies. We simply wish to practice learning proper table etiquette to please thee,
Luna slowly admits. You try to smile, but you're screaming on the inside. It's okay, Your Majesty. You don't have to do this. Now, I'm already thankful for everything else you've done, you answer, remembering how you once rode her into battle.
We have a confession, Anonymous.
You tilt your head up slightly, showing that you're listening. Luna clears her throat.
Not even I art completely familiar with the dialect which I use, Anonymous. Thou must have noticed by now.
You look at her confused.
After residing on the moon for such an extended period, I had forgotten how to use my own language correctly. 'Tis pointless trying to understand it, for not even they fashion that I speak in it is completely correct.
I understand.
I wish to be able to speak more like thee. I mean you.
Luna gives you a slight smile. Your eyes only widen a little bit at this.
Once this conflict bloweth over, wouldst thou teach me the proper modern etiquette, or perhaps find another who could do such a thing if thou wish it? Proposes Luna.
You smile and place your hand on her shoulder. I promise. You then remember what you visited her for. Luna, we all need you out there. Luna stares at you, surprised.
Really?
Yes, Luna, we can still do this.
Thou believest we can overcome this social barrier and seize the day?
You nod encouragingly. Luna smiles widely and springs off the bed.
There shall be hope, Anonymous. We promise not to let thou down,
she loudly declares, suddenly enthusiastic. She teleports out of the room. You stare at the fruits, some of them untouched. You grab an apple as something to eat before you try and help Celestia and the others. The main six have been called over the castle, yet again. It's remarkably more difficult for them to arrive. The Canterlot Legion threw anything they can in the direction of the balloon. Luckily, the balloon is high enough where nothing can really reach it from the ground. Celestia gathers up as much of the royal guard as she can. Ponyville and Cloudsdale have agreed to send in temporary recruits for extra support. It's truly amazing how a little bit of public unrest can escalate into a civil war. You meet up with the main six in the meeting hall. You instantly see how concerned they are, since they just witnessed what is happening outside the castle.
How many towns are turning against us?
You hastily ask.
From what Princess Celestia told us, not that many of them. We definitely have the upper hand,
Twilight assures you.
I guarantee it.
Have you seen Luna?
Not since we got here, but I'm certain she's nearby.
You begin wandering around the castle in search of Luna. The whole place has been cleaned up to an extreme extent. Everything is organized and ready for its designated use if need be. You imagine finding Luna would be easy with such organization. You walk through the hallway leading to the balcony. As you approach the balcony, you spot Luna overlooking the banister. Princess Luna? She turns her head.
Anonymous, what brings you here?
I just wanted to greet you during your duties, Your Majesty. Luna smiles warmly, remembering last week's incident in the hallway.
As we had stated before, we are at high loan on this balcony, Anon. Thou needn't titles during such a casual visit.
She remembers. You get next to her. You could see the members of Canterlot Legion patrolling through the town.
Could I stay with you through this whole thing that's about to happen? I feel safest around you the most.
Luna sighs and hesitates for a couple seconds.
Of course, Anonymous. We both make quite the awesome team.
Everyone in the castle is ready to ride out into Canterlot and put the rebellion down once and for all. Seeing that you and Luna are going to work as a team, Celestia appoints you two in charge of a group of 100 Pegasi that will be used for aerial maneuvers. All of the castle's defenders have to act soon before the rebellion reaches a point where it cannot be stopped. They have already started building another homemade sun. The first one was extinguished and taken apart. The citizens of Canterlot can be very persistent when they want to achieve something. Twilight is delivering another speech to the ponies of Canterlot, telling them that they do not know what they're doing. She reiterates that they can still turn this around and refrain from using violence. They, of course, refuse to listen. Seeing this, Twilight understands that there is no option but to stop them by using force. You overhear her talking to Celestia, who tells her that this problem has been brewing for a while now. You don't want to believe that you caused this. You just want to rewind back through time and tell your past self what was going on with Luna. You never wanted a war, but it also occurs to you that this war has both motivated you and Luna to draw closer to each other. It has given Luna a purpose which allows her to play an important role in restoring the equestrian way in Canterlot. It had finally pushed her forward in time, and into the company of someone who is a lot like her, you. The time has finally come. All of the citizens in support of Celestia depart from the castle and into the streets of Canterlot. You, Luna, and your battalion of Pegasi launch yourselves into the sky and join together in formation over Canterlot. Once again, Luna lets out an epic war cry, and the rest of the flyers join in. She has a whole group of ponies following her now. You yourself can feel how confident she is. The last encounter begins. The citizens of Canterlot automatically begin running around the streets in a panic as the available royal guards begin to confront them. You and Luna lead the Pegasi between the buildings of the town to look for any of the cannons that might be hiding. You are the one giving the commands at first, since this is easier for the flyers to understand what you mean, but Luna's voice projects a lot better. Luna proposes something.
Anonymous, it should prove useful for thou to say thy commands to us so that we can repeat the words in high volume, she explains.
That's perfect, you encourage, seeing this as a chance to help Luna further prove her usefulness. You start to shout commands as Luna listens. She then blares them out to the large group of Pegasi, who take the said maneuvers and scan the town. The process happens repetitively. Many Canterlot citizens are apprehended by being lifted off the ground and thrown into the ranks of the ground troops, where they are tied up and taken prisoner. Others are forced into their homes, to be later taken away. This continues until you come into contact with one of the cannons. It fires right when you and Luna appear in front of it. Luna dodges it by doing a backflip, causing you to fall off. Her magic quickly catches you, and you are lifted back onto her. She then flies behind the cannon, using the sound waves from her voice to knock its operators off their hooves. She bucks at the cannon, causing the barrel to fly back about half a block. My god, this princess can fight. This kind of thing happens to a good fraction of the cannons, but there are too many for everyone to handle at once. On the other hand, the rebellion is on the verge of defeat once again. It's the final act of sheer desperation. The last of the cannons are grouped together and pointed towards the sun. They are being defended by numerous dragons from the Badlands. There is no way any of you can get to the cannons this time. Luna sees this and spawns an idea.
Fear not, dear sister, we shall defend thy likeness, she confidently yells.
A bright flash of magic flares from her horn. Across the sky, the moon suddenly hovers into view. Luna has to use all of her strength to push it fast enough. The cannons get ready to fire all of their ammunition. The fuses are lit. Dozens of royal guards try to stop the cannons, but are promptly fought off by a multitude of dragons outnumbering them. It seems like it's all over now. The royalty has failed. The cannons are seconds away from firing. The rebels start ecstatically laughing in the foresight of their victory in Celestia's and Luna's failure to defend the sun. The land and the sky suddenly grow dim, dramatically changing color. The fighting pauses. All who are in the land of Equestria look up to the skies in pure amazement. The main six, who are battling the rebels as well, begin to cheer. The royal guards cheer as well. The rebels' jaws drop in terrifying defeat. There, in front of the sun, is the moon, shielding it from the last of the cannon's ammo, which is now being launched, bearing a beautiful ring of rays of light around its circumference as it casts a massive shadow over Equestria, a solar eclipse. The feeble cannonballs bombard the surface of the mighty moon. It's not very effective. All the moon gains is a few more craters, not that much difference at all. The cannons are out of ammunition, having used most of it in the battle, and the last of it for their brand new epic failure. The Badlandic dragons have nothing significant left to defend. Their loyalty diminishes as their ranks begin to fall apart. Celestia, realizing that it's not over yet, sees this as the ultimate opportunity to finally end this conflict that has dragged on for far too long.
Guards! Flyers! She commands in her booming voice. Now's our chance! All at once! For Equestria! For friendship!
You had no idea that Luna wasn't the only one who could blare her voice so loud. Guess it's a thing that's common among alicorns. The royal guards rush from all directions. The Cloudsdale Pegasi swoop in from above. The struggle is over in less than a minute. The side of good prevails. The dragons are forced to flee. They fly back in groups, signaling to their comrades that the fight has ended. The battlefield slowly clears. You begin to feel more and more at ease as this happens. Voices everywhere triumphantly chant Luna's names. Thousands of voices. Everywhere Luna turns, there are smiling faces cheering her on. Luna begins to accumulate tears in her eyes. You realize that she's never felt so loved by so many before. Luna has finally found her place in society. She flies around with you on her back as the equestrians chant her name.
Anonymous, she charmingly shouts to you. When shall be the time for thou to teach us modern ways?
What do you have in mind, you ask?
Perhaps during the next feast among all our friends.
You got it, your majesty. Neither of you can wait. It's about an hour until dinner. You, Celestia, Luna, and the main six are all gathered in Luna's room in preparation for the upcoming victory feast. Luna seems a bit nervous, for she has yet to properly adopt the etiquette and appropriate language for a large celebration. After all, she will be the center of attention since the dinner is in her honor.
We art not entirely sure if thou canst teach us the manners necessary in time, Luna warns. What if we don't know what to say?
We've got your back, Applejack encourages Luna.
Yeah, we can teach you. You don't have to worry about embarrassing yourself or anything, Pinkie Pie adds. Thou meanst we could learn modern formal behavior from thee? Luna hesitantly asks. Well, this is a super huge celebration. We'll just teach you how to be fancy and everything, answers Pinkie. Well, if there's any pony in this room who could effectively teach Luna how to act formal, it's definitely Rarity, explains Twilight.
Everyone in the room looks over at Rarity.
Well, I do suppose it makes sense, she begins. Very well. You won't have to worry about a thing, darling. I'll teach you exactly everything you need to know about acting proper at a formal dinner.
Luna looks over at you. You nod your head assuringly. You can see in her eyes that she wants to make herself proper for you. She smiles confidently. She then turns to Rarity.
Okay then, Rarity. What does thou instruct us on first?
For the next 45 minutes or so, Rarity sits down with Luna and walks her through the basic steps of how to act like a lady. She reviews correct posture, vocabulary, tables, and many other things. You imagine that the only thing missing is a compilation of music. Luna is following along the best she can. It's actually cute seeing some pony as couth as Rarity, giving some pony as socially left behind as Luna the basics of modern social cues. Meanwhile, Celestia congratulates you on boosting Luna's confidence once again.
She wouldn't have saved us without your motivation, Anonymous. I am more than thankful for your support in combating her social issues with the ponies in Equestria, she lauds.
You never expected an event like this would bring you and Luna closer together. Riding her into battle as she delivers epic war cries, defeating all foes with the mindy sound of her voice. Oh wow, even saying that sounds epic. You're completely welcome, you respond, cringing slightly, but not enough where it's noticeable. How are you still an awkward fuck? As Rarity confirms that Luna is ready to attend the feast, you ask Celestia a quick question. Not to be nosy or anything, but what's going to happen to all the Canterlottians who rebelled?
Don't worry about it, Anon,
Celestia grimly but humorously answers, chuckling slightly. All of the equestrians who helped Celestia and Luna now eat in the royal dining hall for yet another grand victory feast. The group is now at least twice as large. Celestia has to enlarge the room to be able to comfortably fit everyone inside. A huge feast is prepared. Like, really indescribably massive, Viking celebration tier grand victory feast. There's pizza, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, bacon, waffles, ice cream cones, Oreos, milkshakes, smoothies, roast fucking beef, cereal, anything apple related, steak, ham, and of course, cotton candy, and hundreds of gallons of chocolate milk with apple cider, cake, cupcakes, courtesy of Pinkie Pie, muffins, courtesy of Derpy, and everything in between. Luna sits at the head of the table, next to the other princesses, yourself, and the main six.
A toast,
Luna booms in a modern dialect before the entire table,
to everyone who has assisted in this time of conflict and restored harmony in Equestria.
You all applaud. It's such a beautiful moment. You spot Lyra across the table. It's easy to spot her because she's an incredibly bright color. She's grinning widely at you. You remember that you're a human, so Lyra is probably extremely excited to see you in her presence. You wave. She gets up from her seat and prances over to you.
Oh my gosh, she exclaims. Hands! Iron Will isn't the only one that has them.
Luna turns to speak to Lyra. You can't help but think to yourself, Luna, Lyra.
I appreciate you being friendly, Lyra. But you only want him for what he is on the outside, not the inside, she hints.
Huh? Lyra says with a puzzled look on her face.
I'm just obsessed with humans.
Luna realizes that Lyra wasn't flirting with you and blushes slightly. But she then remembers what Rarity taught her and keeps her cool. She doesn't teleport out and speaks to Lyra instead.
I apologize. 'Twas but a misunderstanding, she calmly states. It's all cool, your majesty. I don't mean to be in your way or anything, Lyra ensures.
Luna smiles. You can see she is happy. and that the other ponies are finally being nicer to her.
Do you know where there are any more humans? Lyra anxiously asks.
Luna turns to look at you, then back at Lyra.
If it helps, there are entire universes full of humans. Our dear Anonymous is from one.
Lyra stares at Luna blankly. Her eyes widen. After a long pause, Lyra leaps into the air and in pure excitement proceeds to hyperactively bounce around the entire table.
I knew it, 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 she squeals in glee.
Pinkie Pie, being Pinkie Pie, joins Lyra in the ecstatic bouncing as she passes by her chair. The guards eventually get them to calm down and back into their seats. You look at Luna as she sits in her seat. You realize the kind of relationship she wants with you. As she looks back at you, you feel the tingling in your spine again. It's electrifying. You give her a thumbs up for maintaining her composure. Celestia turns to you.
Isn't this great? She's finally warming up to you after all this time. Look how much you've inspired her to learn, she says.
You smile and nod in agreement. You then look back at Luna. She's smiling now.
I shall see thou in thy dreams, Anon.
Dinner eventually ends, and it's time for everyone to return home and go to sleep. A dream. You're on the surface of the moon again with Luna. She slowly walks towards you once again. She then stops and places one hoof under your chin.
Thou hast done so much for me, Anonymous, she speaks softly. I thank thee so, so much.
You say nothing. You're unable to make a sound.
It's okay, Anonymous. Thou needn't utter a single word. Thou hast done everything one could do for me already.
She smiles.
This is a dream, Anon. Thou can do anything thy wishes here. The moon's barren surface is thy canvas.
You're now aware that you're dreaming, but still asleep in there with Luna. She embraces you, her warmth welcoming you into her kind friendship.
Dost thou promise to be by my side as my other half, regardless of future events?
You nod slowly, dreamily.
Forever?
You continue to nod. Luna smiles.
Let us spend some time together, Anon. Let us have all the time left we could need to completely bond. We can prolong the time so long as we wish in our dream, Anon. Let us spend as much time as necessary walking on the moon together, away from everything else, where no other can know our whereabouts. Join me, Anon. Together we shall prance on the surface of the moon for as long as thou wish it.
You join her. Together the two of you lightly bounce and prance and gallop all over the vast surface of the moon for an immeasurable amount of time. So long that you feel like it could be 1,000 years. The everlasting moment is absolutely beautiful. You remember a song from your world. The Police, Walking on the Moon. You think about it to yourself. Just before you know it, you can hear it playing. It just makes the moment even more beautiful. You eventually forget everything about the past. Everything. Only you and Luna now. You fade awake. Little by little, you slowly remember everything in and about the real world, because you were only dreaming. It's as though you've only been gone a single night. Walking on the Moon is playing on your magically powered radio. Luna must have done this. Morning. You slowly get out of bed. You try and make yourself look as presentable as you possibly can. You leave your quarters. It's time for breakfast. You enter the royal dining hall. It's such a familiar place to you now. Luna sits in her seat, awaiting you, smiling. You sit between her and Celestia. The song plays on in your head. At that moment, your awesome connection with Luna had begun. There was never any more conflicts between you two. Those days had ended. And you now truly begin your life in Equestria, with your place in the royal castle. There are no words, no tears, only dreams now. And that was Social Cues by Alexander Gray, read for you by Enharmonic. Please let me know what you guys thought of the story in the comments. I love seeing you guys' comments, and I've read more than a few of them, and I've gotten some great ideas for my next story that I'm going to read for you guys. But more than anything, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video. It means a lot. We've officially breached 50 subscribers. I have a video planned for you guys for a 100 subscriber special. I really appreciate everything, guys. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.